Okay, hello everyone. This is a video where I'll give you some directions and pointers on how to access the mutual fund database from Wrds for your group project. So here are the key things we are going to keep in mind. So the first is I've downloaded something called the fund summary file as an Excel file, and I've posted that on Moodle. I have also posted the mutual fund database guide, user guide on Moodle, so you have both of those. So what you're supposed to do is to first use the Excel file. So that gives you a summary, meaning gives you some basic summary data of the funds, like what are the loads, what's the investment objective, when it was started, and so on, what is the last date for which it has data, and so on. So keep in mind, some of these funds might be recent. They might have started just in the past couple of years. Some of them may be funds which are already dead, in the sense that they could have been offered, let us say, from 2000 until 2015, but then they probably closed down the fund in 2015 if they didn't do too well. So this is what is called the survivorship free database. So that means there are funds here uh, which have started at different points in time. They would have, some of them will still be in existence today, some of them will not be in existence today, and so on. Okay. So what you need to do is to pick a fund which is in existence for this entire 10-year span from January 2010 to December 2019. Okay. So you have to make sure that the fund is existing as of this date, and it should have been started before this date. Okay. Choose two funds, a diversified equity fund and a bond fund, and a passive fund. Okay. So one actively managed fund and one passive fund. Okay. And keep in mind, they have to be US based equity funds. So that means no money market funds, no bond funds, no international funds, and so on. And they should be mutual funds, so not ETFs or some such. Okay. Make sure that the fund you're using has at least 250 million of total net assets or assets under management. Okay. And then once you've identified these two funds and that no one else has done it, no one else has chosen these two, then you will go and check whether you can get the dividends from the dividend file, okay, from the dividend table, and then the monthly net asset value. So this is the asset value per share, and the returns from the monthly return table. So you have to get data from two additional tables from Wrds, okay, and then you can download them as Excel. You want to do the analysis in SAS, you can also download it as a SAS data set. Okay. So make sure that your fund has all the data, and then once you're done, then you'll go ahead and do the analysis. So let's go ahead and see how to, or see the structure for this database so we can see how to get some of this data. All right. So click on this get data and then click on crisp. Okay. Now once you do that, so these are our annual files. So this has all the stock market data for individual stocks and so on. Okay. And then when you go to the quarterly update, you will see mutual funds. So click on the mutual funds, and this 9 basically means there are 9 tables, data tables. So these are the 9. So the fund summary, so this is where I got some of the data from, which I have put in the Excel file, which is posted on Moodle. So I want you to get the monthly returns and the NAV from the monthly returns file table, which is this, and the dividends from the dividend file, which is this. Now in this database, so let me show you this fund summary. Okay. So you can click on what is called this variable description. Okay. This will tell you what are all the variables in the data set. Okay. So what we are looking for is this portfolio identifier. Okay. So this is a unique identifier for every fund. So once you've selected your two funds, you can choose, get the portfolio identifiers from here. Okay. And then you can go to the monthly return file. Okay. And you see this fund identifier, and you're going from Jan 2010 all the way to 2020, but doesn't matter. Okay. So you can then put in your fund identifier here. Okay. Whatever is the fund identifier. And then you can go ahead and select all these three. You can see you have the total net assets. Okay. So that is the total assets under management. and this is now the return, the monthly return. Okay. All right. So let me, where did I see that? Okay, now once you've selected your two funds, so then you can identify the fund identifier that's there in the Excel file. I think it's in one of the earlier columns, maybe columns A or B or something like that. So I'm just going to choose a random fund, right? So with a fund identifier of 30229, that's I think the Trans America Small Cap Fund or Mid Cap Fund. Okay, and then I will get all these three variables for it for all of this time period. So the idea is to make sure that it has the data, and then I can download it as a fixed width or as an Excel spreadsheet or as a SAS data set. And then once you've chosen it, you can submit your query. I'm going to just do it as a fixed width text so that I can actually show you what it looks like. But you should download it as an Excel file or SAS. Okay, so you can do the analysis. So it says here output is complete, so it should be pretty quick. Okay. Click on this. So now you can see the fund identifier is here. So that's the correct fund, 30229. So this is the date. So it's starting at 2010 Jan 29. And here is now the return, monthly return. And here is the NAV, net asset value. And this is the MTNA, that's the monthly total net assets or the assets under management. So this has roughly $200 million under assets under management. Okay. So what you can do is just get the returns file data and the NAV data and the total net assets from the monthly returns file. Similarly, if you want dividends, you can go to the dividends file. Okay, and then I can do 30229, and now you can see here, I'm just going to say select all. Okay, so it will give you the type of distribution, whether it's a dividend or a capital gain, short term, long term, and so on, and the amount of the distribution. Okay, so let's again get it in a fixed width format, and let us see what it looks like. So the request is being processed, so it should be done pretty quickly. There it is. So here's the fund day ID, and on this date, it went ahead and paid this kind of a distribution, and the amount per share was so much. Okay, $1 and $1.1368. Okay. Now you want to know what are all these dividend types, right? Because it's only distribution types, because it's only giving you the code. So to do that, what you have to do is to go to this manuals and overviews. Okay. And then I need my mutual fund data, and you can see the database. So this is the PDF that I have posted on Moodle for you. So you can go here. Okay. So let me go to this page. So here's the data tables overview. So these are all the data tables that we have. So I got you data from this fund summary. Okay. And we want the monthly returns. Okay. And we want the dividends. So those are the three we are going to use. Okay. So for example, I can look at the dividends file. So this is basically the variables that exist on that, right? It has the crisp fund number, which we saw. So you can see here. Okay. Oops. The fund number, the date, and the distribution type. Okay. So here's my fund number, the date, and the distribution type. And we saw that the first one was CL. So go here and see what CL means. So that's a long-term capital gain. Okay. The next one was a DP. You can go here, and that is an income dividend. Okay. Now if something was a short-term capital gain, that will show up as CS. And we can see here, this firm did not have any short-term capital gains. Okay, so you can classify all of the dividends or distributions into long-term capital gains, short-term capital gains, or income. Okay. Now the second table that we were using was the monthly returns file. So, before that, I used the summary file. Okay, I told you that the summary data. These are all the variable definitions in that. All right. So, for example, the TNA latest is basically the assets under management in millions. It's telling you that. Okay, so you got to make sure you know the units, and it is of the latest month and latest data for that fund. Okay, and here is the latest date. So we want to make sure that this latest date is at least December of 2019, so that it has all the data. Okay. Now there's also probably something which will say date first offered or some such. Let's see if that's here. Where is that? Okay, hold on. Okay, so I can go to the fund summary. You can see the variable descriptions here, and there must be a date first offered. Let me see that. Should be there somewhere here. Maybe I missed it. Okay, here is this first offer date. So this is the date it was first offered. So this date has to be before January of 2010 because we want complete data for this time. All right. So this is from the fund summary data. So once you have all this data, so you have the data summary data. You're selecting the two funds. Go to the monthly returns file. Get the data for the two funds of your choice. Get the dividend data for your two funds from here. And then once you have that, then you're going to basically combine all of them as explained in the project document. But combine all of them into a Excel table. So download all of them as either Excel, or if you're doing them as in SAS, then download everything as a SAS data set so you can just combine them. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions.